Hello and welcome to Benue Television News at 7. I am Jude Alaki. The headlines: Benue State government to develop housing units for internally displaced persons in the state. The National Judicial Council recommends for appointment as next Chief Justice of Nigeria. And on the international scene, Japan leads warning of potential mega quake. The Benue State government takes delivery of a truckload of assorted food items by the renewed Hope Food Outreach Scheme and Social Investment Program to be distributed to internally displaced persons, IDPs, and other vulnerable groups in the state. A wife of the President, Oluremi Tinubu, presents the items to the Benue State government for onward distribution to the beneficiaries in Makudi. Martha Iku has details.
Nigeria's First Lady and founder Renewed Hope Initiative, Oluremi Tinubu, represented by the wife of the Vice President, Hajiya Nana Shettima, at the symbolic and official presentation of the Renewed Hope food outreach items to the needy in Makudi. Senator Oluremi explains that the items are part of efforts to support target groups to enhance to take care of her husband's President Bola Tinubu's effort to leave no one behind in food sufficiency projects. She extends her commendation to the Benue State Governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, for his support to the Renewed Hope Initiative, announcing that apart from the distribution of food items across the country, the Renewed Hope Initiative has approved business capitalization grants of 50,000 naira to about 1,000 women in each state to support their businesses.
The food outreach scheme is specially designed to provide support to the underprivileged, in line with the resolve of the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to leave no one behind in ensuring food security and sufficiency in the country. I want to seize this opportunity to appreciate the Governor of Benue State, His Excellency Reverend Father Alia, for his support for all Renewed Hope initiative has graciously approved a business recapitalization grant of 50,000 naira for 1,000 women to support their businesses.
The Benue State Governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, taking delivery of the food items, says the partnership between the federal and state government holds great promise for the people of Benue State. The governor, represented by his deputy Dr. Sam Ode, describes the Renewed Hope Food Initiative as an enhancement to the livelihood of the people of the state. He praises the president for the support program, assuring that the state government will be transparent in distributing the food items to the target groups.
The Renewed Hope Initiative is indeed enhancing the livelihood of families across this country. I want to establish the fact that the Renewed Hope Initiative under the Social Investment Program, especially the Food Outreach Scheme, has impacted in such an incredible manner, and our people are indeed happy. I want to assure you that under the transparent leadership of our governor, who is a priest of the Roman Catholic Church, every single item you have donated here will get to the target beneficiaries.
The Special Advisor to the Benue State Governor on Disability, Bem Anshe, leads other beneficiaries to express gratitude to the President and his wife for creating platform for people with disabilities to enjoy such privilege, noting that the initiative is a novel experience for his kind.
This administration has come on board with so many opportunities. So you can see the smile on people with disabilities. That is to say that they are happy in receipt of this item is going to go a long way to push the effect of hardship.
I want to also appreciate His Excellency Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia for his total inclusion of persons with disability within the state. It is the better development, and we pray that he will continue to do more, just as the President has been doing. Him being the governor will also continue to do that within the state.
3 states of Nasarawa, Benue, and the Federal Capital Territory have benefited so far from the renewed Hope Food scheme. Other states are said to be in the pipeline for similar visits in the coming days. Martha Iku, Benue Television News, Makudi.
Thank you, Martha. President Bola Tinubu has said without peace, progress will be impossible for development in Africa. The president also said that peace, stability and democracy are the keys to Africa's progress and development. Speaking at a dinner organized in his honor by President Teodoro Mbasogo of Equatorial Guinea, Tinubu said Africa must take charge of solving its problems, rejecting external instability. He urged African leaders to prioritize peace, stability and progress, saying the time to take action is now. He highlighted the brain drain and talent loss Africa faces due to poverty, outdated judicial systems and tribalism, emphasizing that these issues must be addressed to foster development. President Tinubu appealed to international organizations to invest more in African research and development. He highlighted the need for collective action to address conflicts in regions such as Democratic Republic of Congo and the Sahel. Earlier, President Mbasogo expressed his gratitude to President Tinubu for accepting his invitation to visit Equatorial Guinea, hailing the strong relations between the two nations. He praised Nigeria's extensive experience in agriculture, trade, tourism, and economic development for a mutually beneficial exchange of experiences between the two countries. I'll take a break. We'll come back with more stories. Do stay.
Benue Fashion Show Season 3 is here.
It's that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition.
The NJC has recommended Justice Kudirat Kekereekun to President Bola Tinubu for appointment as the next Chief Justice of Nigeria. The recommendation was on Thursday made in the Council's 106th meeting, presided over by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, in Abuja. This was contained in a statement by the NJC Director of Information, Soji Oye. Oye said this was imperative as Justice Ariwola will formally bow out of office as the Chief Justice of Nigeria next week Thursday, August 22, 2024. He stated that if approved by the President, Justice Kekereekun will become the second female CJN in Nigeria, the first being Justice Mariam Mukhtar, who held the position from July 2012 to November 2014. He reviewed that Ola will bow out of the bench on August 22, having attained the mandatory retirement age of 70. Oye said the NJC also made the recommendations of 27 others as judges of state high courts in the meeting, which will be forwarded to their various state governors and the president for approval. The NJC spokesman added that all recommended candidates are expected to be sworn in after the approval of the council's recommendations to the president and the respective state governors. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC) has confirmed 39 cases of mpox in the country. The agency, however, said that so far no death has been recorded from the disease, which it disclosed were confirmed in 33 states and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). A Director General Office disclosed these on Thursday while speaking to newsmen in Abuja to provide updates on the ongoing outbreaks of cholera, mpox, and other events of public health importance. The development came following the declaration of mpox as a public health emergency of international and continental concern by both the World Health Organization (WHO) and the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (ACDC). Idris named Bayelsa as leading the 33 states with 5 confirmed cases, while Cross River, Ogun, and Lagos states all trailed behind with 4 confirmed cases. Idris also said that so far, about 2,863 confirmed cases and 517 deaths across 13 African countries have been reported in 2024 alone. According to him, this alarming increase is linked to a new strain which emerged in eastern Congo and has since been detected in Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. He said that the National Mpox Technical Working Group, a multi-sectoral body housed within the NCDC, would continue to coordinate Mpox response activities. Idris said the symptoms of the illness include fever, headache, body aches, weaknesses, swollen limb, nodes, and rash. The NCDC DG advised the public to report all cases with the associated symptoms to the nearest health facility for care or call the NCDC toll-free line. He added that government is making effort to make vaccine available to the public. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) has joined forces with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to safeguard exploitation. This partnership was highlighted during a courtesy visit by the FCCPC's Executive Vice Chairman Tunji Bello to EFCC Chairman Olanikbekun Olukoyede in Abuja. During the meeting, Bello praised EFCC's expertise in surveillance and investigation, expressing concerns about the rise in cases of arbitrary price hikes. He called for collaborative efforts to combat these unfair trade practices. Bello also designated Olukoyede as an ambassador to the FCCPC, further solidifying their partnership. He stressed the need for a strong alliance between the two agencies to create a fair and equitable market for Nigerian consumers. Both agencies have committed to intensify their joint efforts to protect consumer rights and hold those responsible for economic crimes and unfair market practices accountable. Comes just a week after the FCCPC announced its plans to engage with market leaders across the country to tackle exploitative pricing of consumer goods. We'll go on another break. We'll bring you more stories when we return. to have you back. You're still watching Benue Television News at 7. Now, 4 stories on the international scene. Japan has lifted its warning about a potential mega quake 1 week after it was issued. The warning told people to be alert but not evacuate, saying the probability of a major earthquake was higher than usual, but it was not imminent. The Japanese government said it was no longer asking people to take special precautions and they were free to go back to normal lifestyles. Following the warning, thousands of Japanese people cancelled planned trips and stocked up on essentials, while some high-speed rail travel were also affected. The Eco agency said it had detected no seismic activity indicating any concerning changes in the presumed area where the megaquake could originate. Disaster Management Minister Yoshifumi Matsumura said while last week's warning has been lifted, the risk of a major earthquake is still present. He said no abnormalities had been detected in seismic activity and crustal deformation, so the call for increased preparedness was lifted. Experts were put on heightened alert because the epicenter sat at the edge of the Nankai Trough, an area of seismic activity which stretches along Japan's Pacific coast. The plate boundary sits between Suruga Bay in central Japan and the Hyuga-Naga Sea in Kyushu to the south. After last week reportedly left with empty shelves or forced to put limits on purchases of items like bottled water. A Russian court has sentenced Ksenia Karelina to 12 years in jail for treason for donating $51 to a charity supporting Ukraine. Karelina, who has American and Russian citizenship, pleaded guilty last week after a trial held behind closed doors. She had been living in Los Angeles and became a U.S. citizen in 2021. She was arrested during a family visit last January in Yekaterinburg, about 1,600 kilometers east of Moscow. Prosecutors had sought a 15-year jail term. The court in Yekaterinburg found her guilty of high treason and sentenced her to imprisonment in a general regime penal colony. Used by Russia's FSB security service of raising money for Ukrainian organization providing arms to the Ukrainian military. A Russian human rights activist said a single transfer of $51.80 had been made on the first day of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 22, 2022. Her lawyer, Mikhail Moshalov, said Karelina had only admitted transferring the money, believing the funds would help victims on both sides. He told newsmen that she would appeal against the sentence. The charity Razum for the Ukraine said earlier this year it was appealed to hear of Karelina's arrest and denied raising money for weapons or ammunition. It said it was a U.S.-founded charity focused on humanitarian aid and disaster relief. Russia's authorities and human rights groups say more than 1,000 criminal cases have been opened against anti-war dissidents. Afghanistan's Taliban has celebrated 3 years in power with a military parade, paying homage to its homemade bombs, fighter aircraft, and goose-stepping security forces. The Taliban's armed forces towed Soviet-era tanks and artillery pieces through Bagram, the former United States air base where Chinese and Iranian diplomats were among hundreds who gathered for the parade and speeches. The air base served as a linchpin for the U.S.-led operations against the Taliban for 2 decades. I recall that Taliban forces seized Kabul on August 15, 2021, after the U.S.-backed government collapsed and its leaders fled into exile. The anniversary anniversary is the Afghan calendar. The Taliban government remains unrecognized by any other state, with restrictions on women who bear the brunt of policies the United Nations has called gender apartheid, remaining a key sticking point. Prime Minister Mohammed Akhund, who had been scheduled to appear at Bagram, praised the Taliban authorities' victory over those he called Western occupiers. He said the Taliban government has the responsibility to maintain Islamic rule, protect property, people's lives, and the respect of Afghanistan. While many Afghans express relief at the end of 40 years of successive conflicts, the economy remains stagnant and the population mired in a worsening humanitarian crisis. A joint statement from international non-governmental groups warned of the growing aid funding gap, with 23 in need of humanitarian assistance. Women have been squeezed from public life, banned from many jobs, as well as parks and gyms, and barred from secondary and higher education. According to analysts, security has been a priority for Taliban authorities as they consolidated their power over the past 3 years, implementing laws based on their strict interpretation of Islam. And now for our earlier story, the Benue state government is to develop 3,000 housing units as part of efforts to provide good shelter for internally displaced persons in the state. Governor Hyacinth earlier announced this Thursday at Government House, Makudi, when he received a delegation from the United Nations. According to nations, to ensure the well-being and eventual safe return of internally displaced persons in the state. Correspondent Emmanuel Akula completes the report.
Since assumption of office in May 2023, the present administration in Benue State has continued to make deliberate moves to effect the safe return of displaced people in the state to their ancestral homes. In one of these moves, Governor Hyacinth is receiving this high-powered delegation comprising 2 Assistant High Commissioners of the United Nations and a German ambassador to Nigeria. The visitors are in the state to collaborate with government to identify areas of assistance to benefit the IDPs. Governor Alia, who pronounces donation of a 33-room building to the UN to serve as a central hub for their activities in Benue State, says the proposed 3,000 housing units will contain essential infrastructure and other utilities to create better living conditions for the IDPs. United Nations in building the capacity of some state agencies for effective coordination of humanitarian response towards achieving development goals. It reveals that his administration has directed the State Emergency Management Agency SEMA to upgrade facilities at health centers in Benue communities hosting IDPs and refugees, aside the establishment of a farm where food would be produced to feed them. According to his submission, over 5,000 IDPs have been captured for health insurance schemes.
We want to express my profound appreciation for the unwavering support to UNHCR, bolstering our state efforts to protect and provide for these displaced persons. In the face of these challenges, our administration remains resolutely committed principles of the Global Compact on Refugees. I am pleased to allocate the old Ministry of Information Complex a 33-room building for use as the UN's Red Roof in Makodi.
The UN delegation acknowledges the bad condition of the displaced citizens in the state and affirms their visit to collaborate with the state government for durable solutions. The UN team acknowledges the governor's attention to improve the living conditions of the IDPs in compliance with the international obligation, restating the international body's willingness to partner the state government to impact positively on the lives and stabilize the population.
It is a very commendable approach that Nigeria has taken to absorbing refugees here, and Benue State is very much an illustration of that. Excellency, because I understand that you have over 10,000 Cameroonian refugees in the state, that you have integrated them, that they even will be part of the social register and will in fact be part of the state-run investment programs as well.
There are 10,000, close to 10,000 Cameroonian refugees in your state. You've been providing them with all the support that they require. In a world where it's not obvious that you receive and provide support to people who are fleeing their home, it is important to underline that and really to thank you and commend you for what you have been doing.
The German ambassador to Nigeria, Annette Gunther, stresses the need for all stakeholders to join hands to address the challenge of IDPs.
The problem of IDPs is also one that particularly applies to your state, and I was very happy to see you at the meeting at the Vice President's office the other day. That leadership is very much needed, and then the international community, be it the donors, be it the UN family, we can come in and help and complement what you are doing, or set examples that then can be scaled up and expanded. So I think this is something that needs us to work together closely.
Delegation to each IDP camp located along Joseph Sawantaka University, Makurdi, for an on-the-spot assessment of the living conditions of the displaced citizens of the state, where he again assures the people of his government's efforts to effect their safe return to their ancestral homes.
The United Nations, it's come to see how you, my people, are doing here, and I'm happy they've come, they have seen, and they also feel exactly what you're feeling.
Emmanuel Akula, Benue Television News, Makurdi.
Thank you, Emmanuel. On our ticket weather report, we'll come back and we conclude.
A beautiful Friday to weather report. The sky will remain very cloudy, but also with several sunny periods all through the day over parts of Makurdi, Otuko, Boko, Katsina. Temperatures low around 28 degrees Celsius and high around 37 degrees Celsius. Humidity of 46% with 21% probability of precipitation. The unstable weather with risk of light rain and outbreaks of thunder will die away during the day in the Federal Capital Territory, and the possibility of rain at the start of the evening towards the night hours. Temperatures low around 25 degrees Celsius and high around 33 degrees Celsius. In Sokoto State, we anticipate light passing clouds that do not affect the sunny periods all through the day. Temperatures varying between 30 degrees Celsius low and 42 degrees Celsius high. And that's it from here. Do join us again for another package. I am Loretta.
For the report, we conclude our package for the evening. The top stories just before we go. A Benue state government to develop housing units for internally displaced persons in the state. The National Judicial Council has recommended Justice Kudirat Kekereekun for appointment as next Chief Justice of Nigeria. Then on the international scene, we told you that Japan has lifted warning of potential mega quake. Many thanks for your attention. On behalf of the production team, my name is Jude Alaki, wishing you a good night. So na che jamti. Sabana ba asavasa fenta shano Benue television magudi. Jamti fi avene kunu yoro higen pa mo wa wona bemdo wadwa muhan shovane me. Jamti si zwa ma kan ha je gmotu benta Benue akan ha jono wekyo wansemble maune ma ayo a kumaje tubu utan ha kan benta Benue show kwanen luiwasen Hamblamba ka teve ma yesu tia pa vlu gede pe claro e jire tan temblega kan kwenta u Benuela gono kwenta u Benu high sentio mem alia adro a kwa ono se yange tumonyi han yake gumotu kwenta u Benue manaka na ha jone kwanaka mom kana ka gumotu kwenta u Benue e yaun hitom kanyo me dubu ha ma kino ko ta kalaje unro mi kishima shon kana gbino ngen ha je mblamba ka teve ne Lwe jiri tam ma urukan payo paya alwaron kwana sheno wango ho nzo tasha won wechi manaka na ha jiwone one tomna kan kya veve tembleje eve pa kan juma kala dana higeme na on yosen ya ikan ha ji ango ho nzo UN mashi onshun welu ashe a gumoto tawran ta u jama kan ta u nanjira chi alia akan ha jona ungunan ayo a tan kriya kumaje kunugbe ka ta na han ba UN shai ve ha to temple ma ve ne ka ve fato ta me kan gba tom wo suwan gumoto kwenta wo Benu higen pa na ashe ka jo na fishe ne ngan sha ko na yo sen han blamba wa ko ma wa he kwa ka bro teve kan kwenta wo Benu chi ve so aji a elentom to temple a kwa hana jire blamba ka teve ma claro e jiga yesu ha to la ba sha kwa ne ve fato joana mpeyo ma tomtore tsembe sheno akana a teve bayo elebe hela kra akabe UN ma won shino ru ya she ya gumoto ta u chaman chi kan ta uranjira azabe hanjili ba ka teve ne ha to bondo yem Joseph Sawa Bunawo yam kan university Joseph Sawa ta ka ha makudi ha ningu u ichwa ha makudi la ba shora nenge nse haman wo he ma shife ba nenge sha shife aka ate yo bula egen ba la yo ha she tono zona ha jona suwe bishije ma shi awu sive she yosine vi hira nengu motu kwenta buna sha ha na zandan ya higene na ha yo pa na ta kya betemble unanga na hanje awashimave wasema swembla ba ka teve shi hembe yone akurevo shelo ko de doyo eshi kavese na hanje gumoto kwenta u Benu higene sha yasin ma metom mam shitom o hementa uranja chi bola me Tinubu alo emi na hanje iwase blamba aka teve kenta u Nigeria mashikem Benu la payo gumoto kwenta u Benu ngo kokomoto o iwa aka ya shimi ishi Show ye to me my wasi blamba kan tse she hambave yo kan kwenta u Benu baya elelo nana kana hen kumoto kwenta u Benu ya unshinoru kwasi yo hemen utaw danjira chi olore metinibu avaga pa kwasi ya o alu muwe wo hemen utaw danjira chi hajiya nanna shetima ai nyungune manzeke tomna sha chi na ya awese gomno kwenta u Benu high center yo aliya kishi she ateshi ma ayren tom kwa ve gumoto shintine kan gba tom ro ngana haje awash ma gumoto shintine ma Benu chi ya za kurevo sha cha Benu ma ta uran chira chi ve zwa yasen kan aka inengana haye e sha chu tyo Nigeria ma cha Benu na yo wengo ho kwase ya o muwe wo hemano ta uran chira chi ya sha chu gono Benu kan haje lu muwe gomno kwenta u Benu sam ode awese o hemeno ta uranjira bola me Tinubu bishi ma blamba suon kan gba tomno ngen hanje akane kwenta u Benu ga kan aka teve bayo welu wango no kwenta u Benu kwa kan gba tom ma shaya abre ngen shamblamba be wan la yo bem ashe ba awese o hemen o ta uranjira bishi Shay unpa arsuan gumoto kwenta u Benu shahamano high sentio memalia shaw nangan high vetin by hembe yo nekpa baka enjumaga ba vazwa yosen ilu hanga sha chive kanta u Benu ba ta u Nigeria yo Ikpeta I kana hanje ba tom nguza mauna ashabe kawla higa ikaya ka banta u Nasarawa banta u Benue ma chumuta ita u Nigeria chi ba. Uwelu o hemeno tau Nigeria o vesembola me Tinubu kana hanje ona alwe bemgu kama yangije mze hemeno fatawlung kenta Africa ga. Bola me Tinubu duwe kwa orun shenwe nyungwe wanzo amasha china. Shahamen o unshun welu o hemen o ta o Equatorial Guinea chi Theodore Mbasago kenta o Guinea. Akara ha jone kwana kama mkana kai do cha mamblamba muheme cha Afrika chi ve kola vesha meve mze hemen fatolu nsemble ma mbano kula yopa ono hinge kwa karanka njuma yo. Na haya kawuna alo bemgu yo nzo kalu ta ka kula kwesiga na hana kaka na uzamvo maene pati chichi na hemen uta shini tia ikene Afrika chi ikumaido sheka jone kama mkana ka vechi kile veshami mashi do ve kule ayosu ranzure luken tau DR Congo ma kenveru sahera kwayo welu hemen tau Equatorial Guinea Theodore Mbasago au Tinubu pishisha taking amount lo honken tana Marango nga hashinya ka kalaka shova elen diwe na song ya